So, I know this is not Club Shay Shay. Far from it. Yeah, I got a zip. See it? No, y'all saw it. And it looks like cold is there, but I guarantee you it's not cold. It is soap. It is soap that I stuck on. Oh gosh, this chair is not giving. It's not giving great aesthetics right now. I'm at my kitchen counter. Let's turn it that way, maybe. Maybe I should put it on the chair, like how I had it before. That way you can see my art. And you get some natural lighting. Yes, I got my gut out today, people. I put on clothes. I put on clothes in the house, and I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna tell y'all. We go get some context behind it. Let me just get my chair, and I'm like debating whether I want to pour this pour, because I might have to go get some more. And I didn't even have no coffee yet. Yeah, it was one of those days. It was one of those days. I was trying to decide whether I was about to sweep them out, but I was about to sweep them out. No. I actually defrosted the chicken this time. Stick it back in the fridge. Yes, it is nice. I did warm up the water for the coffee. I did warm up the water for the coffee. However, I have to get back to it. You know how my podcast shows goes. So my podcast shows go according to how I'm feeling. That's just how they go, according to how I am feeling. And I intend to get more, I guess, business-minded and oriented with it, because I know that it can be monetized. Anyone who likes to send me a bottle of Shay's cognac, because I do enjoy a good cognac, and so right now, Tattoo is in my budget. So I've been sipping Tattoo. Yeah, good. But I definitely like the bigger bottle better. I would have felt very much more content if I just sort of like relaxed. But it was Friday. I had a very challenging week, and I just wanted to relax, because I know for a fact that I might have not started out the week great at all. I had a whole bunch of internal things, and not just my internal things, but I shared. You guys saw the podcast. I shared throughout the whole week what was basically going on with me. I'm looking up at the top. Forgive me. That is a force of habit, that when I'm recording myself, I'm looking at the top of the screen, because I'm so accustomed to that being where the camera is at. But I just recognized, because it's so odd, like I caught in my peripherals that my ain't at the top. I caught my eyes. I caught my big bright eyes and my peripherals like being not where they should be at, which is at the camera looking at you, right? So anyway, let's get back because I am on my tablet, not my telephone, and I like recording on my tablet. So anyway, it was a very challenging week. It was a very challenging week, and so Thursday, um, I self-regulated, because see, let me explain something to you about me. I do enjoy a good cognac now, right? But when I am indulging, I'm celebrating. I'm celebrating. I am celebrating life. Now, every time I'm celebrating life, I don't accompany it with some cognac. But the point that I'm making is that if I decide to responsibly indulge in alcohol, it is because I am happy and I'm feeling celebratory. And whether I'm with family or friends or even by myself, that's when I am responsibly indulging. However, I do know that some people use it as a crutch, and they use other substances as crutches too to avoid dealing with their difficult feelings. But I deal with my difficult feelings straight on, right on, head on, no matter how difficult they are. And I make sure to self-regulate myself, to get myself in the state of mind that I want to be in before I decide to indulge. And that's me. So I'm saying that because yesterday, in the midst of my celebration, after I got through such a very challenging week, and I was feeling better about myself and just feeling good and just proud that I had gotten through so much. Because as I shared in my other episodes, there was stuff deep down that was like in crevices that I needed, that wasn't even aware of being there. But I've been so dedicated and devoted to my growth and to my health that that comes first and foremost. And if a part of me comes up that I need to deal with, I'm not like, hey, I'm going to force it on somebody else. I'm going to put it on somebody else. I retreat. I go into hermit mode. I regulate myself. I deal with myself. And there's no time frame to that. You know what I mean? Because I'm not codependent. I'm very serious about any relationship that I have. Any relationship that I have with anybody, professional, personal, friends, family, like all the relationships must be healthy. That's my boundary. Now, different relationships have different dynamics, but they must be healthy. And that is not completely on the other individual because I have no control over anybody else. That is on me. I have to make sure I am presenting my most healthiest me to the relationship. And that's just how it is. And some people, they feel like it's unrealistic and whatever. They have their own thoughts, but I'm the one who shapes my reality. So I'm going to be me. And I get that people don't get that. But there are people who do get it, who I don't even have to go into full explanation on. But there are people that I love. And even though I have new people in my life, the people that I love, I just wanted to kind of clear the air with them. And there were thoughts and feelings that I had towards them. And even though we don't have current relationships, I still wanted to express myself. And I feel like me expressing myself is just kind of like, hey, it gives them the opportunity that if they want to build a new healthy relationship, it's available. But if they don't, it's okay. It was just like, this is how I feel because I genuinely love you. And that's it. So with that being said, I got very talkative. You already know I'm talkative, right? I was talking this whole week to the freaking world on my podcast show, and I just got some patio. But if y'all want to send me some Club Shay Kodiak, just hit me up down there. We'll work out the logistics, okay? But I'm gonna order me some. As soon as my damn taxes hit, I'm ordering me some, okay? I don't have my taxes yet because my W-2s ain't come yet, but that's a whole nother conversation, right? So Anyway, I was very talkative, feeling very good, feeling very talkative yesterday evening. And so, the first person I reached out to is my first cousin, which we call each other brother and sister. And, I sent him like a couple of messages. No. Was he the first one I reached out to? No, he was not the first one I reached out to. The first one I reached out to was another David, a David from Virginia, because he had sent me a message and I was like responding to him. So I responded to him and then I reached out to my brother. By the time I got to my brother though, I had left at least, I don't know, they were long messages. And because he's supposed to be coming over here today, but he was supposed to come over here last weekend too. And I prepared, I did more preparation last weekend than I did this weekend because I was excited, and I was excited today too, but I got hors d'oeuvres, aka hors d'oeuvres. I got hors d'oeuvres last week, the little jalapeno poppers, and I had chips, and I had dip, and I had asked him what he wanted me to cook. He was like, I want some barbecue chicken. I was like, I got you. And I didn't get he would have ate any type of chicken, but I got whole food chicken, okay? I got whole food organic chicken. Like, I don't gotta tell you about it because I still got the thighs. And I will explain why I still got the thighs, but show you the thighs. My thighs too, right? Whole Foods, baby. Whole Foods. Organic chicken thighs. I think they boneless. They boneless and they skinless. Like, I get it. I'm about the healthiness. Like, I get it. So, I was ready. He said he wants some barbecue sauce. I'm like, okay. Now, the barbecue sauce. This is the first time I got this barbecue sauce. I like this guy right here. I like him. What's his name? Guy. His name is Guy. I like this guy right here. His name is Guy. Ironic. But you seen him, right? Now, I don't have any endorsements, just so you know. But I seen him, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to get this kind. This apple, smoky and sweet, and it got a little spice to it too, right? So I got that kind, and I was like, okay, cool, like I'm ready. And I take breaks periodically digitally with my mobile devices. So I'll just like take off my mobile device for a couple of days, 72 hours, whatever, because I'm not attached to it. It's a tool. And I had to get to this point. I wasn't always at this point. I had to get to this point, and it was a marvelous thing to get to because now I do it at will. But I was forced to do it last year when I lost my employment because I decided to put a family member as a priority, and I couldn't do both. They was not able to feed themselves, and so I don't want to go into the details of that, but I made the choice, and I didn't have a job, and I could not pay my bill, and therefore it was shut the fuck off. It was shut down for about 3 months, okay? And I lost a very important phone number to me that I still have yet to get back. I think in order for me to get that back, I would have to cover that bill, which was over $1,000. It added up to about $1,000. And I don't know, I don't know if I really want that number back or not. But anyway, I was without mobile devices for about a good 3 months. And the first week was very strange because I got so used to them. But after the first week, it was like, something hit me inside. It was like, you existed before these things even existed. So how do you have such dependence on this thing right here? Get outside, go do this, go do that. And I started listening to the internal nudging inside of me, and that's what I did. And I felt good about it. I was like, oh, I didn't even notice that the 3 months had like lapsed, you know. So again, the first week it was very challenging, but after that it was a breeze in the park. And I still was able to get on Wi-Fi and like, you know, so do excuse me, episodes and, you know, research things and, you know, just kind of still be connected but not be dependent. So I don't have a dependency on my devices. I realize what they are. They're tools. And just like a fucking hammer and a motherfucking drill, like, you don't get attached to it. You don't become dependent on it. It's a tool that you use when you are doing something. So these are tools that I use when I'm doing something. Right now, I'm doing a podcast episode, you know, but I'm just giving some context. I have found my coach. My coach has found me. She's amazing. She's amazing. It was like looking at me. It was like listening to me, but seeing me polished, seeing me healed, seeing me at my very best. That's what I saw when I saw this particular coach. And she's well over 60. Well, I don't know if she's well over 60, but I know she's over 60. And she was a guest on another phenomenal woman's podcast show who she makes it her business, and I can't even think of her name right now. I think her name is Lisa. Her name is Lisa. I can't pronounce her last name. But Lisa, Caucasian lady, I forget where she's from, but she's from overseas somewhere. But anyway, she was interviewing my new coach. And I was just like, she's freaking phenomenal. Like, she's a polymath, which a lot of people, if you're not a polymath and you don't have friends who are polymaths, you misinterpret polymaths because you think a polymath is being dismissive or being what's the word I'm looking for? Distracted. And we're not distracted. Like, we genuinely have interest in all these different various subjects. Me, for example, I love to read. I love metaphysics. I love spirituality. Metaphysics and spirituality can be seen as the same thing. I love science. I love to cook. I love to paint. I love to sing. I love to write. I write literally every day. Like, it is not a day that goes by that I'm not writing. I love art, you know, so I have a lot of loves. I have a lot of things that I study, and I have a lot of things that I'm pretty good at, you know. But this lady has mastered herself and mastered everything. And obviously, I love to talk. Obviously, you know, so she has mastered all these things, and I'm just so grateful to have found her, right? So I was watching her, and she was just describing like how people can be saying one thing, and it sounds like it's the same words, the same exact words, but there's very different meanings behind the words because of the context. So that's why I like to explain the context to you guys now, because it's like I want you guys to have an accurate representation of me. You know, you might be like, oh, well, she's too this and she's too that. And I've always gotten that, you know, because I don't fit the mold, even though I look very similar. But the way I talk, the way I deal with things, the way I deal with myself is very different because I'm very different. You know, I'm unique, and I get that. And it bothers people because sometimes people just don't want to deal with their difficult parts. They like, well, this is the way it is. And then people grow and they heal at different paces, you know. Some people don't have the freedom to really dive into themselves deeply because they have other responsibilities that take up their time, you know. So I get it. But back to me being so talkative yesterday, I leave my brother a message. And I'm like, listen, it's going to snow. So listen, I let him know. I ate the poppers. I ate everything except for the chicken. And the only reason why I didn't eat the chicken is because although I took it out that morning, I stuck it in my refrigerator. I didn't take it out and leave it like in the sink. So when I did errands last Saturday. I had just gotten back in around 12 o'clock last Saturday. And when I went in to look at my phone because I was not looking at it for a couple of days, I saw that he had sent a message Thursday, which I was totally unaware of. So I was like, oh. He said he forgot that he had made other plans. So I was like, oh, okay, well, all right, that's fine. My son, that was last Saturday, so my son already had decided that he was going to go and do whatever he wanted to do. And even though I was expecting him to come back, I was like, shoot, I could capitalize off this little bit of free time I have. So I just disrobed, took it off. I'm in the house, I'm by myself, I'm comfortable, I'm feeling good, I'm feeling great. And that's how it was, And I was like, don't worry about it. Like, I love you. I was prepared for you, but don't worry about it, And I did make some chicken, but I ended up making chicken legs instead of chicken thighs. And because the thighs are still frozen, so I just stuck them back in the freezer. And he was like, next weekend, which is this weekend. So I was like, okay, cool. We'll do this weekend. But I did not save all the snacks. Like, I snacked throughout the week, and the snacks were gone. So I'm just telling him how I ate all the snacks. I'm like, I ate the poppers, I ate the cake, because I baked the cake too. I ate it all. I ate everything except for the freaking thighs. And I was like, I still have barbecue sauce left, So I'm like, but we go, like, I have love, I have internet, and it's not much, but I want to share it. So you're welcome to come, bring your husband, bring your son, and, we're just going to eat, drink, and be merry, and freak the snow, just get in an Uber over here, because he's literally not far. He's like maybe 3 miles away from me, maybe 4. He's not far at all. So he's like, we in there. We heard that like around 9 o'clock. And I had like maybe 4. I took a nice bath. Oh my God, I need some Epsom salt in my life right now. I took a beautiful bath with eucalyptus and spearmint. Oh, like I was just like in my complete element yesterday. I have my positive affirmations playing. Because see, people don't understand. It is so important what's going on in the background, especially in your own personal space, because all of those are suggestions. And how we operate naturally is like 90-something% subconsciously. So what's in your subconscious? What are you putting into your subconscious? What do you think you're watching on TV that you just think, well, it's just entertainment? No, that's those images, those words, those scenarios are all literally going into your subconscious. And if your behavior on your day-to-day, hey, Daily Love JC, welcome. If your behavior on your day-to-day is like 90% or more by your subconscious, then it's important what goes into your subconscious. So I'm very keen of what goes into my subconscious. And even though I watched today, I will be completely transparent. I watched today maybe like 20 minutes of Paternity Court on YouTube, because that was what came on afterwards. And like I'm like the next person who's entertained by drama. Don't think that I'm not entertained by it. I didn't get there yet. Maybe one day I will get there. I ain't there yet. I was all in Monique shit. I was all in Cat Williams shit, though. So don't misconceive what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that because I know what I know, and I know that our subconscious governs a high percentage of our day-to-day behaviors, that I am in the process of reprogramming minds, okay? And I've been in that process for a few years, but now I have more space, I have more opportunity, and I'm definitely just utilizing and appreciating all of that, right? So that's where I was last night. So he's like, we in there, and I'm like, okay, cool, so I take my bath, and I'm listening to my good stuff in the background, and I'm sipping, and I make me some fancy noodles. And I know you're like, why are you so happy about the fancy noodles? What's exciting about these fancy noodles To me, it was no big deal. I took 2 Italian sausages and some peppers, threw them in a pot with some seasoning, boiled them down. Initially, I was just gonna have sausage and peppers, and then the juice was just so juicy, and there was a lot of it, and I was like, you know what? Let me throw some noodles in there too. So I threw a pack of noodles in there, and it was delicious. It was the most delicious thing ever. But it was a simple meal for me, you know. And afterwards, the cleanup was like nothing, a pot and a bowl, like, you know. So anyway, I enjoyed that, right? And why it's funny, why I'm smiling about that is I was scrolling today, oh my God, I think his name is Tahir. I think this brother's name is Tahir Moore. He is a comedian, and he was promoting his show, his coming show. And he had a skit up there. Not a skit. He had a remix. So you know how remixes go on social media. You take another post and you put yourself next to the post, right? So on the post, it was a written post. It said, "My man has $50." No. Yeah, my man has $50. I have $200. We go out to eat, and the meal is $46 and some change. Who pays for it? And so Tahir, being the comedian, I feel comedians are like very smart. I just want to say that. I just want to say that because they state the fucking obvious that most people, it would go over their head. Most people be like, well, she should pay for it. Oh no, he should pay for it because he got the money. You know, like people would go there, and he's like, nah. Neither one of y'all should pay for it. Why the fuck is y'all outside anyway? Y'all only have $250 between the two of y'all. Y'all need to go to the supermarket, get some noodles, get a pack of meat, get some eggs, and stay in the house because that money may have to last you the whole freaking week. Yo, he went in. He's like, yeah, y'all need to make some fancy oodles and noodles. I don't understand. And I was just like, oh my God, I saw that today. And I was like, I literally fucking had fancy oodles and noodles yesterday. So it was funny. It was hilarious to me. And I'm going to laugh when I think about it because it's funny. So anyway, so after I share how I feel with him, and he's like, okay, cool, I'm on board, I'm on deck. I'm like, all right, yeah. See, here's the thing also. I genuinely have fun every day. Now, some days are challenging, like those days that I shared and you seen, and I spoke about those challenges, and I released those challenges, and then I moved on from those challenges. You know, I've learned not to carry trauma, and I know that there's trauma that I've been carrying that's kind of like deeply lodged, literally. So I'm working on dislodging that, but I'm definitely there's nothing new, nothing new, baby. No, right? So after I do that, I'm like, I'm feeling really good. I'm gonna tell everybody how I feel today. Everybody I love, I'm gonna tell you how I feel. So I went from him to a previous friend of mine's who we were both in a group home together, and we tried to reconnect several times as adults, but it just didn't happen. And not because of the lack of love, but just, you know, it just didn't happen. You know. And I think they're a wonderful person, so I just wanted them to know, like, I think you're wonderful. I just want you to know that I had to retreat because I'm serious about this shit. Like, I'm so serious about my health and my well-being and my growth. And if I feel myself as being misunderstood or misunderstand, like they literally told me, "Oh, you doing too much," and all I said was basically, "Listen, like communicate with me, like what the hell?" That and I didn't really remember all of the details honestly when I left the message yesterday, but of course I went to my archives and I was like, well, what really did happen? Because it wasn't like we like had a big argument or disagreement. It was more so that I was like, hey, like I want our interactions to be of substance. Basically what I'm saying, I want our interactions to be of substance. And with our interactions being of substance, meaning like I want to just have like literally conversations, not just conversations about challenges, but just like general conversations, because that's what's on my mind. Like ideas are coming to me. My business, even though it's in litigation, I still want to discuss how to revamp it and, just bounce stuff off of other intelligent people, right? And this person is an intelligent person. So, but they were like, oh, you're doing too much. I'm working. I got these kids. I got this. I got that. And it's like, hold up, wait a minute. Like, I get that you got a plate full, but I'm not being too much by saying this is what I need for me. For me, this is what I need. So I'm just letting you know this is what I need. It's not the first time I'm letting you know. It's like the third time I'm letting you know. So if I'm letting you know this is what I need and you're not able to do it, then just say you're not able to do it. Don't make it seem like I'm doing too much by standing on what I need. And that was that. And so I was just like, you know what? I'm just going to fall back, because how I felt initially was to lash out and be like, how dare you? But I had to recognize before I lash out, and I don't typically lash out, but before I lash out, I'm going to evaluate myself. What inside of me is having me feel this way? Because, okay, you said what you said, but there has to be some unresolved issues within inside of me that I need to deal with. Plus, I was in multiple legal battles last year. So my business is in litigation, my home is in litigation, and then I got other motherfuckers that's trying to litigate against me and get money from me. Like, I literally had companies that was suing me, like, and my challenging loved one dealing with their stuff. So yes, you got 2 small children and an adult child, and I get that. Those challenges are challenges. I'm not saying one weighs more than the other, but what I am saying is that everybody has challenges. But in the midst of our challenges, we still should be able to communicate with each other and let each other know how we feel. So what I did was I was like, I have to set a boundary, basically. Now, I don't know if I used those words exactly. I think I was just like, I'm going to fall back and I'm going to leave certain things open where you could communicate with me. But I'm going to just fall back right now because I don't want to argue and I don't want to go back and forth with you. And that's what I did. I left certain things open. Certain things I closed because people be watching and they don't understand. They feel like, oh, because somebody is presenting happiness, because somebody is presenting things that look good and feel good, that they're not being realistic. When in reality, they are being realistic. And how would you know unless you're like in close circumference with the person? If you're watching from a distance, you really don't know. You really don't know. You just really don't know. So long. The song's lost. Making sure. And I'm like, I know I ain't cooking. I have connected. You see that vent up there? That vent up there is connected throughout the whole fucking building. So that's why I'm in a smokeless place, which is cool for me because I don't smoke. But, other people definitely do. Like, I walked in the door yesterday and I smelled marijuana. I'm like, they trying it. I don't know if it's cheaper. My brother works in a building like that, similar. But his thing is different because I'm like, for here, I'm looking at the neighborhood. Yes, it's new, but you know what I'm saying? It's still reasonably priced. And for the reasonable prices, I think you can do that. But if a person is paying like $7,000-$8,000 for rent, you shouldn't tell them what the fuck to do in their space. So even though it might have been cheaper for the building to install those vents, like you see that vent up there. Trying to look at the right place. You can see the vent though. Just follow the finger. Follow. There we go. That vent right there. It's connected. So it might be somebody else's cooking or whatever that I smelled. But anyway, I expressed how I felt, and they acknowledged it, and they were like, cool. I've been through some shit too, but I'm not sugarcoating anything, and I just moved on because you ghosted me, and that's it. And I was like, well, thank you. Like, thank you for even responding to me, because you didn't have to respond to me. But cool. Like, I'm okay. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. I'm okay. I'm okay with that. So I'm like, okay, cool. And I might have said a couple of other words, but basically that's where the conclusion is at. It's like, cool. And then so my other loved one, who I wouldn't say they ghosted me, I would just say like they stopped interacting with me. And again, this is somebody from a distance, so this is not somebody like close. We going out every week, we see each other every week. Like, that's not what was happening. This was a long-term friendship that spanned over about 20 years. So as you know, we both grew within those 20 years. But what I noticed the last time that I went to visit them out of state was that we grew in different directions. Like our roles were different. They were willing to compromise certain parts of themselves to achieve certain things that they wanted. And I was not in that same state of mind. Nonetheless, I didn't judge them. I just stayed true to myself. I didn't feel the need to be pretensive or, pretend that I was cool or was okay with things that I wasn't okay with. It wasn't like I spoke about it in a negative way, like, I'm not okay with that, and I'm not okay with this. I just was silent. And paid mind to the things that do interest me. Like, I'm not interested in just having a bunch of material stuff. I like material things, okay? Like, you have no idea. But I love me most, and I love being a healthy version of me, and I love being free, and I love healthy relationships. And although I am not per se in a sacred union at this moment, at this time, I still carry myself as such. Now, some people would say, well, the way you dress. And no, it's not the way I dress, okay? It is because my dress is just the outside. My dress is just the outside. It's just a expression of however I'm feeling at the moment, okay? But how I carry myself, my character, that speaks volumes. And my character is the character of a wife. My character is the character of who I am, the things I value. So therefore, I don't want to be around women who like, this guy got to do this and this guy got to do that. That is not entertaining for me. You are entitled to how you feel. If you think guys must do this to get your attention, you are entitled to feel like that. But once you voice that one time, why are you saying it over and over again? What are you saying it over and over again for? Why? If you feel that way, first of all, if you feel that way, why do you even have to make an announcement about it? Period. Okay, but I get you. It's a bunch of us girls. That's how you feel. Okay, you said it, but then you go say it again, and then you go say it again, and then my friend was like, "You heard them?" And I'm like, I just looked away, like, whatever. Like, I did definitely heard them, but I don't care. I don't care what a guy gotta do to get you. Like, and then now saying it makes me scratch my head. Because are you saying that is because that's what anybody has to do to get you? Because there's so many closet motherfuckers. You want to talk about the guys that's on the DL? Let's talk about these bitches on the DL too. They out there, baby. Baby. I don't judge nobody. Love who you love. Do what you do. If you're an adult, and you want to have an adult, whatever, with another motherfucking adult, like, do it. What are all of these, especially nowadays, you don't even know who's who and what's what. Before you could just look, okay, you got titties, you're a woman. We can't do that nowadays. You cannot look at a person with titties and assume that they are a woman. I feel a way about that. It's a little bit fucked up. You just can't. You can't look at a motherfucker and tell what sex they are. You just can't. You just can't anymore. It's fucked up. So love who you love and do what you do. Like, what are you trying to do? What's your point? If you like bitches, say you like bitches. If you saying this because you want to let a bitch know what a bitch got to do to get to you, then that makes sense. But it doesn't make sense. Ain't no niggas around for you to keep saying what a nigga got to do to get you. That shit don't make no sense to me. So I'm like, yeah, I'm not there. I'm not on that wavelength. I'm not on that wavelength. And not only that, I'm not gonna jump when you say jump. That was one of the things that kind of threw me about a person that I knew this person was in my loved one's ear, right? And I just felt like my loved one was in a marriage. I don't know if they're still in a marriage or not because there was a disconnect. But my loved one was in a marriage, and it's like, from what my loved one was sharing with me, the guy was faithful. He was hardworking. He married her, so he committed himself to her. And yes, he had trust issues and whatever other issues he had within himself, but he genuinely loved her, genuinely supported her, and maybe not completely the way she wanted him to, but I believe that if she took the time to, and maybe she has, but I'm talking from my perspective from what I knew from the past, because I have no idea what's going on now. But that was kind of like how our disconnect formed, at least from my perspective. Now from her perspective, her spirit told her that I was into things and that she should not talk to me. And so I took that as, especially since you mentioned spirit, as her being uncomfortable with my spirituality. So my crystals, I don't know what else. I mean, maybe my earthing, my prayers, I don't know. But I took it as, when she mentioned spiritual, that basically I had gotten to a certain level and it disrupted where she was at and made her feel uncomfortable because she was not there, and maybe she couldn't understand why I spoke the way I spoke. Because when she would tell me things about her marriage, my freaking response all the time was like, work on it. Like, you love him, he loves you, I listened to you, I heard you. This man's not beating you upside your head, he's not abusing you, he's not abusing the children. They were like very small things, and I get small things can be serious, but nonetheless, if he's not harming you and he's not harming those children and he's providing for you and he loves you, then the discrepancies that you have with him, and maybe you have communicated it to him, but maybe you need to communicate it to him in a different way, where he can actually hear you, and it's not like he has to defend himself, so that was my perspective. And it got to a point where she just blatantly told me she didn't want him. So I was like, well, shit, if you don't want the motherfucker, I don't know what else to tell you. If you don't want him, then what the fuck? It don't make no sense to fight for something that you don't want. That don't make no sense, you know what I mean? So at that point I was just like, I don't know what to say. And that's when the disconnect came. So anyway, I had reached out to them a little while ago, like not too long ago, like a week or so ago. And that's when they told me about the spiritual thing. So then I was just like, yeah. I feel fucking good. I feel good. My life is fucking amazing. And it is all because of my spirituality. It is all because I prioritize my spirituality, not just on a Sunday, every single day. Like, motherfucker, you brush your teeth every day. I'm praying every day. And yes, I light candles. And yes, I use herbs to clean my house and to control the vibrations and the energy of my house. Yes, I do all of that stuff. But all of that stuff has made my life better, has allowed me to go through and grow through different challenges. So I am going to continue. I'm not going backwards. I don't feel the need. Now, I may go visit a church, you understand? I'm not against it, but I don't feel the need to go and become a member unless it is of Agape. Agape is the only exception. Agape and perhaps SGI. Those are the two organizations, spiritual organizations, that I would consider to possibly become a member. But anything that is dogmatic, that wants to put down a woman, that wants to be contradictory, that doesn't want a person to grow into their fullest potential, I don't want no parts of it. You want to put me in a box? I don't want no parts of it. I don't want to put no organization, person, religion, anything that wants to box me and define for me what I should be. I think the divine that is within me is the only authority that can let me know. And my divinity says, ain't no limits. Ask what you want and you shall have it. Seek and you shall find. And so I'm like, really? Because sometimes I feel a bit limited. Really though? Let me keep applying these principles. Let me keep feeding my subconscious. Let me keep on doing me. And so I'm not going to go backwards. And so when they made that comment to me, I was like, well, I love you. And that's it. Like, and so, but yesterday I was talkative. So yesterday I got more elaborate on the love. And I was just like, listen, this is what it is. This is how I feel. And it's okay. And I don't expect you or anybody to be me. I don't have those expectations. But I do, I accept people. And only time I will reject an individual is if you're being harmful in any shape, way, form, or matter. And that's for anybody. Like, I will reject even the person I gave birth to if they're being harmful. Like, I love you, but I'm serious about this shit. You gonna have to give me some space because figure you out, because I have already decided and I'm serious and I'm committed to this way of life. And I know I look the same and sometimes I may even speak similar to the old me, but I am renewed, and it is just a process. This is just a growth process that I am going through and growing through. So therefore, if you don't have that level of commitment for yourself, it's going to be challenging for us to be close. You can have that commitment for yourself and be at a different level, but if you don't have that commitment for yourself at all, you're not going to comprehend me. You're going to have things that block you from actually seeing me for who I am. And if you can't see me for who I am, although I see you, you may not even see yourself, but I always see you, because see, what I recognize and what I know is that divinity is not just inside of me. Divinity is inside of you. It's inside of you. You don't got to go outside and look for it. It's inside of you. It's inside of all of us. So that's what I have in my mind consciously whenever I see anybody. Oh, that's just another representation of God. Sometimes I feel compelled to remind them, hey, you know you got divinity in you, right? And of course, my ones that I love, of course, I'm going to remind you. You know, but you don't want to accept it because you think, God, how can I have God inside of me? God is outside of me because God created all of this. And you just have a disconnect with your own divinity. God, yes, created all of this, but God is also beating your heart. Where is your heart at? It's inside of you. So God is literally inside of you too. That's what omnipotent is. here and there, inside and outside. Both. Both of those places and spaces is the occupancy of the divinity, of the God force. And it ain't a person, it ain't a he, it ain't a she. That is just man's limited perception and trying to explain it to others. But really, the best any spiritual leader can do is to tell you to tap within. Tap within. That's the best they could do. They can't tell you, well, you should do it like this, and you should do it like that. You should pray to the east, and you should stand in the west, and you should turn this way, and you should turn that. No, 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 no. Well, no. First of all, if you're going to use these directions, you're going to have to back this shit up. You ain't going to say, oh, because God said it. It's a reason. It's a reason. It's a reason behind it. So anyway, that's how I feel about that. And that's what I did yesterday. That's what I did yesterday evening. And it was a wonderful evening. And I slept like a baby on my ball of air. It's not a ball. But I slept like a baby. I slept in because I'm typically up between 3 and 4. And today, even though I got up at 3 or 4, my body was like, don't go into the closet, a prayer closet, feeling sluggish, get some more rest. And I got more rest, and I rested until I felt, woo, I'm ready for the day, which was like 7 a.m. And I got up and I did my prayers and I commenced to getting myself together. So for the large part of the day, I was not with the clothing, all right? I was in my robe. And I would put on my robe because I was opening my windows, and I was like, well, it's daytime, so I'm going to close up the booty a little bit, and I did that. But I got dressed because my brother was supposed to be coming over here. And so he texted me. I got to check back. I've been talking for the last, it's 1 o'clock. I've been talking for the last hour. So I got to check my messages to see if he's coming, if he's not coming. If he's not coming, then I'm going to probably do some reading, take these clothes off, put the chicken on anyway because the chicken is defrosted, and have dinner, ready for me later on. And maybe take a nap, I don't know, read, take a nap, relax, put on some music, shake a tail feather. And if he is coming, then I will sweep and I will mop. And I will do all the other stuff along with it. But if he's not coming, I'm not sweeping him up until tomorrow. This is what it is. If he is coming, I'll sweep him up today. If he's not coming, I ain't gonna sweep him up today. That's what it is. So thank you for tuning into the SupaTea Podcast Show. I just wanted to come on here. I feel really, really good about where I am in life right now. And it takes work. And I have been in similar happy spaces before, but what I begin to do when I got into these happy spaces before is I begin to neglect my spiritual practices. It was like, oh, I'm here, I've arrived. For example, with my cafe, like I had manifested over $100,000, and I was just like, oh, I've done it. I had a used BMW, I was working towards my business, I was traveling. I just thought that was something. And it was something for me, but it was more so a lesson for me because first of all, people are making that on a yearly basis here in New York City easily. Like that ain't a lot of money here in New York City. And I quickly know, even though I started a business and I did probably more than what a lot of people would have done with it, it was gone. Once it was gone and the challenges of the business, it was like, wait a minute. And it was like, I just thought everything was already good, and it was good, but I needed to also prioritize my spirituality, and so that's what I'm doing. So now it's like, okay, the finance is not there, but everything else is there, as far as the peace, as far as the joy, as far as the love, as far as the good feelings, the good vibrations, all of that is here. And so it's just a matter of time before, because that's how it happened before. Like I was in a peaceful state, a mindful state, a lovely state, and then that manifested. So I'm like right back there right before the manifestation of the finance. But what I know now that I didn't really know then was just having more good stuff doesn't mean that you pray less. If anything, you should pray more, because now you're going to have bigger responsibilities, more people that you're dealing with, and you're going to need to be divinely plugged in and connected to make the right type of choices that you need to make moving forward. So that's where I stand at right now. I put on a couple of pounds, by the way, as you can see. But ooh, there, I still feel for over 40. It ain't horrible. Okay, it ain't horrible. I got some work to do for sure. But I just want to do a little spin. Ooh, did you hear phones? Do a little. Oops, I might get the camera. Do a little spin on y'all. Oh, I heard another one pop. Do a little spin. So, that's another thing to prioritize. My health, my body. So it's a wholesome thing. Physical, spiritual, and mental. All three of those things must be in alignment. So I had to put things in the right priority. So yeah, the physical is a priority, but is it the top priority? For me, no. My top priority is my spirituality. My physical is actually my last priority. My spirituality is my first priority. My mental is my second priority. And the physical is my last priority. Okay? But with that being said, thank you for tuning into the SupaTea Podcast Show. I'm going to do one more 360 for you. Food is something that you physically eat, right? I think food is something that you physically eat. It's okay. I'm so glad I have a new coach. I'm so glad I'm like, nobody knows the frustrations of a polymath unless you are a polymath. And, you still have to mature. Being a polymath doesn't automatically mean that you're mature or even that you're emotionally intelligent. It just means that you're a polymath. It just means that you are, you study different subjects, like to the T. You master different things, not just one thing. So anyway, food too has spiritual essentials. Of course, everything has a spiritual counterpart. Everything physical has a spiritual counterpart and a mental counterpart. Not just our physical bodies. Everything. Even this chair. This chair right here has a spiritual aspect to it. Because before it existed in the physical world where you can see it, I can see it, I can touch it, it existed spiritually. And so it still has that existence around it. Whoever created it, whoever put it together, they had to first put it together mentally. They put it together mentally, they put it on a paper, so yes, everything has the three. But it doesn't think for itself. It only has whatever is put into it. And of course, as it travels, it can get cleaned, it can carry certain spiritual things. So yeah, spirituality is tied to everything. That's why it is my top priority. That's why it's top tier for me. And I encourage it to be top tier for you. And of course, our food. It's in everything. Everything. So with that being said, I'm about to finish off this podcast and see if I got any messages, because if they are coming, they said they'll be here by 2, which means I only have an hour to decide whether to see if they are or if they're not. So I'm going to see if they are. If they are, they're cool. If they're not, they're cool. Like, either way, cool, baby. Thank you for tuning in.